Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. This is Math 101 final exam, term 232. Let us solve the exam together. The first question, answer these short questions, solve the equation. Well, to solve the equation, we expand, we multiply -2 times 1, and then -2 times -5, it would be positive. 2 times 5 is 10. Equals 9. And then I can add x with 10x. This would be 11x. And I can take -2 to the other side. So it would be 9 plus 2. That's 11. And now I can divide both sides by 11. And x would be equal to 1. Find the domain of the function. The domain are all the possible values of x. So you can find f of any x here. You can replace x by any number you like, except the number that makes the denominator 0. So if 3x minus 6 equals to 0, then I can't replace x by this number. How to find this number? I solve the equation. I take 6 to the other side. I divide by 3. So the number that makes the denominator 0 is 2. So the domain of f would be all real numbers except this number, which is 2. You can also write it from -infinity to 2, union from 2 to infinity. Write the equation of the line passing through this point. So this is x0, y0, and parallel to the line whose equation is this one. We know that the equation of the line is y minus y0 equals m, the slope, times x minus x0. So we need the slope and the point. This is the point, so we need the slope. He said parallel to this line. So if I can find the slope of this line, m would be equal to the slope of this line because they are parallel. Parallel means they have the same slope. To find the slope of this line, I write it in the form y equals mx plus b. So I divide by 2. So y would be equal to -4 over 2, which is -2x, plus 16 over 2, which is 8. Now, if the equation is written in this form, then the coefficient of x is the slope, -2. So the equation would be y minus 2, so it would be y plus 2. M is -2 times x minus 1. So this would be the equation of the line. How long will it take? 2,000. So this is the principal to grow to 4,000. This is the future value. S in a bank investment at 10% simple interest. This is R. R is 0.1. The question is how long. So he's asking about T, and it's simple interest. So we know that I equals to PRT. I is the interest. Now 2,000 to grow to 4,000, the interest is the future value minus the principal. So it would be 4,000 minus 2,000. It would be 2,000. So the interest is 2,000. The principal is 2,000. And R is 0.1 and T is unknown. So T would be 2,000 divided by 2,000 times 0.1. And this would be 10. So how long? 10 years. It will take 10 years. 2,000 will take 10 years to grow to 4,000 under these conditions. Standard license plates in Egypt consist of 3 letters of the alphabet followed by 3 digits. How many possible license plates can be allowed? So there are 3 alphabets, 3 letters, followed by 3 digits. Digits, letters. The number of letters is 26. No letter could be used more than one time. No repetition. And the digit from 0 to 9. So if he means no repetition in both digits and letters, the solution would be how many possibilities for the first place here? You have 26 letters to choose from. Once you choose a letter for the first position, now you have 25 letters to choose from, and so on. So how many possible license plates? 26 times 25 times 24. These are the letters. Then times 10, the number of digits. Then if you choose the first digit, you have 9 to choose from, and then 8. This would be the answer. If you multiply them using the calculator, the number would be 11,232 zeros. You can say also, if you like, that you have 26 and you want to choose 3 of them with order. The order here is important because it will differ license plate from another license plate times 10 P3. Okay, this is another way to solve it. This is probability of E, probability of F, probability of the intersection. Find probability of the union. Well, there is the definition of probability of the union. It's probability of E plus probability of F minus probability of the intersection. So the answer is 0.4. What is the future value, which is S? If $7,500 is invested, so this is P, for 12 years, this is T, this is R, 0.09, compounded quarterly, so M is 4. The formula is S equals P times 1 plus R over M to the power MT. So P is 7,500. 1 plus R is 0.09 divided by 4, which is M. And in the power, I have 4 times 12, which is 48. And if you put this in the calculator, the answer would be 21822.3 dollars. So 7,500 will grow to 21,000 in 12 years. That's accepted. Find the market equilibrium point, price and quantity for the demand function and the supply function. The equilibrium points, we solve these two equations together. To solve the equations together, I will solve them by substitution. I have P, so negative 2Q plus 320 will be equal to 8Q plus 20. To solve this equation, I take the numbers to that side. So 320 minus 20 is 300. And negative 2Q, take it to the right-hand side. Add it to 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10Q. So Q is 300 over 10, which is 30. So this is the equilibrium quantity. equilibrium quantity. And to find the equilibrium price, I replace Q by 30, either here or here. You should get the same answer. So I will use this one. So 8 times 30 plus 20, 240 plus 20, 260. So this is the equilibrium price, $260. Consider the quadratic function. Find the point of the maximum value. Well, the graph of the quadratic function is a parabola, and the number here, the coefficient of x squared is negative, so it's a parabola opens downwards, and the point of maximum value is the vertex, which has coordinates h and k. And here a is -2, b is 4, and the definition of h, it's negative b over 2a, so it would be -4 over 2 times -2, that's -4, so h is 1. And he asked about the point, so I need to find k. K would be f of h, which is 1. So f of 1 is -2 plus 4 plus 4, and that's 6. So the vertex is 1 and 6. That's the point, that's the answer. Suppose E and F are events of a sample space S with I have probability of E, probability of F, probability of the intersection. What is probability of the conditional probability? Well, the definition of the conditional probability, it's probability of the intersection over probability of the condition, which is F. So this is 0.6 and F is 0.8. So the answer is 6 over 8 or 3 over 4 or 0.75. Given A, if I compute 3i minus 80. Well, 3i, I is the identity matrix 1, 0, 0, 1. And AT is the transpose of A. And to find the transpose of A, I write the first row of A as the first column, and then the second row as the second column. So multiply the first matrix by 3, so I'll have 3, 0, 0, 3 minus, I can say plus, and multiply this minus by the matrix, -1, -1, 2, 1. And now I just add the two matrices, 3 minus 1, 2, 0 plus minus 1, 0 plus 2, 3 plus 1, and this would be the answer. How many ways can a committee of 4 selected from a club with 12 members? 12C4. There is no order, so it's 12C4. If there is an order, it will be 12P4. And if you use the calculator to find the answer, you will find that the answer is 495. Find the values of x and y. These two matrices are equal, so x minus 2y equals to 3, 0 equals to 0, -2 equals to -2, and y equals to 6. So we have y, we put it here to find x. So x minus 2 times 6, that's -12 equals to 3. So x would be 3 plus 12, which is 15. So x is 15 and y is 6. If a number is to be selected at random from this set, what is the probability that the number is even and divisible by 3? Let us search about these numbers. How many numbers are divisible by 3? Well, I have 3, 6, and 9. 3, 6, and 9 are the only numbers divisible by 3 in this set. Now, how many of them is even? 3 and 9 are odd, so 6 is the only even number divisible by 3 in this set. So I can call this set E, and E will have only one number, which is 6. He's asking about the probability of E. So probability of E would be the number of elements in E, which is 1, over the number of elements in this set, which is 10. So the answer is 1 over 10. Use the given feasible region determined by the constraint inequalities to find the maximum and minimum value, minimum of the objective function. Well, this is the region, the the dashed region, this region, and I need to find the corner points and put them in a table. So corner points, I have 5. This point 0 and 5 is a corner point. 0 and 0 is another corner point. This point is a corner point, which is 6 and 0. And this point is a corner point, which is 4 and 4. So all the corner points are clear from the graph. If these numbers are not there, then we must he must give me the equations of the lines so I can solve the equations together and find the corner points. But the corner points here are clear. I put them in this function C, 5x plus 7y, and see the values. So at 0, 5, x is 0, y is 5, 5 times 7 is 35, 0 plus 0 would be 0, x is 6, 5 times 6, 30, and y is 0. X is 4, 5 times 4, 20, y is also 4, 28 plus 20, that's 48. So the maximum value, the maximum of C is 48, and minimum of C is 0. So this would be the answer. Use simplex method to maximize this function subject to these constraints. The first step is to introduce the slack variables and change these inequalities to equations. So S1, the first slack variable for the first inequality, and S2 is the second slack variable. So the number of slack variables would be equal always to the number of constraints. And for the objective function, I take everything to the left-hand side. And now I can write the initial simplex matrix or the simplex matrix. So the coefficients of x, 1, 1, the coefficients of y, the coefficients of S1, because there is no S1 in the second and third equations. The coefficients of S2, there is no S2 in the first, there is S2 in the second. And the coefficients of f, the objective function, there is no f in the first or the second, but it is here. And now we write the numbers to the right, the constant terms. This is the initial simplex matrix. Now we determine the pivot element. The pivot entry or element, we look here to the objective row, the last row. We look for the most negative. So -2 and -3. -3 is smaller than -2. So this is here, these two numbers would be, we call them the pivot column. And to determine which one of them is the pivot entry, we divide 10 by 2. We get 5. And we divide 7 by 1. We get 7. The smaller 5 is smaller than 7. So 2 is the pivot entry. What should we do with 2? We have to change it to 1. So we need to divide R1 by 2. So I'll have half, 1, half, 0, 0, and 5. and here these rows without any change. And after making this number 1, I need to use it to make the other numbers zeros. So negative R1 plus R2 to make this one 0. And how to make negative 3 0? 3R1 plus R3. So I'll get a new matrix. Negative half plus 1. Negative 1 plus 1. Negative half plus 0. 0 plus 1. 0 plus 0. Negative 5 over 2 plus 7. 14, it is 9 over 2. Okay. Negative plus 7. Yes, 9 over 2. And then why negative half? I'm multiplying by negative 1, sorry. Negative 5 plus 7 is 2. Negative 5 plus 7, good. And the last row, 3 times half, 1.5 minus 2, that's negative a half. 3 plus minus 3 is 0. 3 times half plus 0, 0, 1. 15 plus 0 is 15. So this is the second matrix. And now the problem is not finished because I still have a negative sign here in the objective row. So this would be the pivot column. To determine which number is the pivot entry, I divide 5 divided by half would be 5 times 2, which is 10. And 2 divided by half would be 2 times 2, which is 4. 4 is smaller than 10. So this number is the pivot entry. I should make it 1. So multiply by 2 to make it 1. So I'll have the same row as it is. And then the second row, I multiply by 2. So I have 1, 0, negative 1, 2, 0, and 4. And finally, I have the objective row. Now this number is 1, good. I should use it to make the other numbers zeros. So this half I need it to be 0. So negative half R2 plus R1. And here half R2 plus R3. So you should make this, you should use this one to make zeros, not, for example, you add half and negative half. No, this is not good, not correct. So the new matrix would be negative half plus half, that's 0, 1. Negative half times negative 1 is half plus half, that's 1. Negative half times 2 is negative 1 plus 0, 0. And negative half plus 4 is negative 2 plus 5, that's 3. And the second row as it is. And then the objective row, half plus minus half is 0. Half times minus 1 is negative half plus 3 over 2, 1. Half times 2 is 1 plus 0. Half times 4 is 2 plus 15 is 17. And now in this matrix, I do not have any negative number in the objective row. So that's a final matrix, simplex matrix. Now this is X, not X1. And this is Y, and this is S1, and this is S2, and this is F. Here I have a leading one and zeros. So X is a basic variable. Y is also 1 and 0. So Y is a basic variables. S1 and S2 are non-basic. So I put S1 and S2 zeros. And I write the system. So I'll have Y, because S1 is 0, S2 is 0, Y would be equal to 3. And in the second row, X, S1 is 0, S2 is 0, so X is 4. And in the third row, S1 is 0, S2 is 0, so F is 17. So maximum of F is 17 at X is 4 and Y is 3. So this would be the answer. The usual sample space produced by 3 children in a family as, okay, so he gave me the sample space. 3 children in a family. Eight outcomes. This experiment is similar to tossing a coin 3 times. H, exactly the same. B boy, G girl, determine each of the following. The event E that at least one boy in the family. I think he meant here determine the probability. Okay, determine or find the probability. Otherwise, if he doesn't want the probability, then the event E that at least one boy is in the family, you just find E. At least 1 point in the family. At least 1 point, so it could be 1 or 2 or 3. So in fact, it's everything. BBB, BBG, BGG, BGB, GBB, GBG, GGB, except GGG, because here we don't have any boy, at least 1 boy. So if he asks about E, this is the answer, but in fact, he's asking about the probability, but he forgot to write this word, determine the probability. So probability of E would be how many outcomes here, 7, and how many outcomes in the sample space 8, so the probability is 7 over 8. At least one girl in the family. Again, F would have everything except BBB, because at least one girl. So write all of them 7. Okay, so probability of F would be also 7 over 8, because everything except BBB. At least one girl means 1 or 2 or 3 girls. Are the events E and F mutually exclusive? No, because E intersection F is not phi. There are intersections. For example, BBG is in both. It would be mutually exclusive if the intersection is phi, but here it is not phi, so they are not mutually exclusive. Suppose a computer manufacturer has the total cost function, the revenue function. What is the equation of the profit? Well, the profit is the revenue minus the cost. So it's 250x minus 50x minus 2000. Because when you subtract minus the cost, you change the signs of both terms. So the profit would be 250 minus 50, that's 200 minus 2000. What is the profit on 400 times? He's asking about P of 400. So it would be 200 times 400 minus 2000. And if you put the answer in the calculator, it would be 78,000. Okay, let me check. Yes. How many items must be sold to break even? Well, break even, I can find it in two ways. Either R equals C or profit equals to 0. So up to you. He's asking about how many items. So only X, the value of X. So I can put P equals to 0. So 200X minus 2000 equals to 0, or 200X equals to 2000. So X is 2000 over 200, which is 10. So 10 items to break even. A jar contains 3 red marbles, 7 green, 10 white. If a marble is drawn from the jar, so we will select one marble, what is the probability that this marble is white? How many white marbles are there? 10. What is the total number of marbles? 3 plus 7, 10 plus 10, 20. So the answer is 10 over 20. What is the probability that this second marble, that the second marble, he means, okay, the second marble is red if the first is white? So he's asking about the probability that the second is red if the first is white. So probability that the second is red. So red in the second, okay? Or I can, the second marble is red, I can call it E. If the first is white, I can call it F. And he is asking about the probability of E given F. Okay, so he's not asking about probability of intersection here. There is a conditional, this is conditional probability. So notice that the experiment is with replacement. So the first is white, select the first marble, it's white, put it back in the bag, in the jar, and select the red marble. So what is the probability that you select a red marble in the second? It's 3 over 20. Because the white in the first, you put it back. If the experiment is without replacement, then the answer would be 3 over 19. Because you took a red marble and put it away, not back in the jar. I hope you understand. So this is a conditional probability, not both of them, okay? Solve the following system by any method. Let us solve it by Gauss or Gauss and Jordan. So let me write the augmented matrix 1, 0, 1, -4. First equation x, y, z here. X is 0, y is 1, z is -1. The coefficient of x is 3, 1, 4, and -1. This is 1 good, so -3 R1 plus R3. -3 plus 3 is 0. -3 plus 4 is 1. 12 plus -1 is 11. This is 1. So -R2 plus R3. So you first 1, 0, 0. Second, you make it 1, 0, 0. Okay. So the new would be 1, 0, 0. And this one without change. And this one also without change. And now -1 plus 1 is 0. 1 plus 1 is 2. -1 plus 11 is 10. I can stop here, or let me continue. Divide R3 by 2, make this number 1. So I'll have 0, 0, 1, and 5. And the other rows without change. And then I can You can use Gauss and stop here, but I'll use Gauss and Jordan and make these numbers zero. So R3 plus R2 and negative R3 plus R1. Now I add these two rows and negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Negative 5 plus minus 4 is negative 9. So X is negative 9. Y is 6. Z is 5. And this is the answer. And this was the last question. Okay, this is 5. You can write, like, if you like, the answer like this as a point. This is SS. I hope you enjoyed watching and solving the exam with me, and best wishes in your final.